I'm Tiffany McCafferty, and I am the pastor of the First Presbyterian Church of Paw Paw, Michigan. 2018 has been an exciting year for our church. Our congregation is turning 175 years old. So it has been a time of celebrating, of counting our blessings, and learning the history of the church. I've only been there about 3 years now. So for me, it was really important to go back and hear the stories about the very first family that gathered people together at a time when the town itself was just being formed. And we actually have members today who are descendants of those first founders of the church. So there's a lot of deep rootedness in our congregation. At some point, this congregation made an intentional choice not to be the newest, latest, most technologically savvy or have the hippest music and be that group of people, but to stay put and to really live into something they do so well, which is loving their neighbor. And so by being in the heart of the village, they can continue to connect with the people who are in and out of the court system, who do not have transportation, who have to walk places. We're also just 3 blocks away from the county jail. And when prisoners who are released, anyone who's been sentenced in the county is released there in Van Buren County. And sometimes it's at midnight, it's often in the winter. And they walk to the first hopeful sign they see, which is our white cross atop our steeple that's lit up all night long. And sometimes they're there in the morning waiting for someone to come and point them to a hot meal or a place to get clothing. And for a long time, the church has done that informally. Now we're coming together around the table again with the agencies that provide job placement. We're trying to create a database of felon-friendly housing. So really living into that call to love our neighbor has become concrete and real. Our congregation has had its eyes open, and they look around and they see young men and women struggling to re-enter society after a period of incarceration. And so they're becoming aware, we're learning ourselves, what are all the obstacles, how hard it is to get a job, to find a landlord who will let someone with a prison record live there. And then we see the cycle that happens when people run into those obstacles over and over again. So there's definitely been a need and an awareness and a desire to respond. And what's great is we've learned we can't do it on our own. But there are several other smaller churches, community agencies, and together we are starting to do this ministry. We're answering questions, we're looking at the obstacles, and it's extended right down to the youth in our church now have what we call our Prisoner Reentry Project. People donate backpacks, and our youth fill them with everything somebody needs, from socks to knife and fork, bus tokens, always a Bible or some sort of devotional. And then inside there's a little card that invites them to come to our church and pick out a winter coat from our coat rack. For about a year now, we've come into relationship with a family from Syria. They came here as fully vetted refugees. They actually spent about 4 years in refugee camps in Turkey. And during that time, 3 of their 5 children were born in the camps. So these little ones came to southwestern Michigan, never having known anything but life in a refugee camp. They got here with very little language skills, very little assistance, and really our congregation formed a team. And what was amazing about it, it was our members, but it was also a cousin and a neighbor and another person in the neighborhood who just heard about what we were doing and wanted to get involved, because the level of care that it has taken to get this family through the first year has been almost daily contact with them. We have one couple that goes and takes them once a week to get food from the food pantry. Another couple goes and opens their mail and helps them understand all the letters that the schools are sending home about their kids or the doctor's office is sending them. We were recipients of one of the Synod welcome grants, and we were able to buy them a dependable car, which made all the difference in the dad being able to get a job. And the family now has a home. They've moved into their second home, and they're acquiring language. They came to our church picnic and we dressed them up in old time costumes and they sat and posed in front of a fake general store. The family lives just outside Paw Paw. And so again, it's kind of in between Paw Paw and Kalamazoo. We've had to reach out and connect with some other people and resources. And so that's helped us build some relationships in Kalamazoo and other areas. When we went to buy the family a car, we happened to go to a dealership which was owned by someone from Syria and was married to an American woman, and they have a farm in Paw Paw. And so all of a sudden, here we are talking to a mom who looked into the face of our refugee family and saw her family and just said, how can I help you with this? So that was a God wink right there.